Alright, so we got a lot of stuff revealed today in the Heresy dev stream. Let's get right into this juicy information. So it seems as though Oryx is back in some capacity. We don't know what that is in this image that you can see here. The Dreadnought, of course, is down in the deep of Titan, the Methane Sea, and it seems as though we'll be revisiting that area as well, and, well, obviously the Dreadnought. And you can see Oryx at the top kind of peering over, kind of just, looking around, seeing what's going on, kind of like, bro's kind of looking like me when I see the Super Bowl party spread, and I'm looking at that cheese and crackers, you know what I mean? He's peering over and he's like, I'm gonna go get some, and instead of cheese and crackers, he's looking at Guardians. He's gonna eat some Guardians. But there are some story spoilers ahead, so if you want to go into Heresy completely blind, make sure you click off of the video now, and you've had your warning. So, who has the Echo this time around? It appears as though it's not Xivu Arath, it's not Savathun, and it's not even Oryx, as far as we know, but it is some powerful dread. I don't know if we've seen that before, maybe not. And of course, it's our usual cast of characters when it comes to Hive. We have Eris Morn returning, Drifter, of course, to help her out, as well as Sloane using her new Taken powers. So yeah, maybe Sloane is the next Taken Queen. Who knows? Who knows? As promised, there appears to be less going around and talking to vendors this season, talking to holo projectors. There seems to be some kind of new tech that they didn't want to reveal about that whole questline thing, some new holo projector stuff that's going to go on, so that should be fun to see. As long as I don't have to talk to 7 different vendors every single week, that's fine, that's great. And they hinted towards some type of event that will happen during this season, pertaining to Sloane, and just speculation here. I have no information on this whatsoever, but I assume something is happening to Asa because she wasn't mentioned in the story at all, and that would make sense. And it's possible that these new powers that Asa has, maybe she like fuses with Sloane, but it's also possible that maybe she's dead. Who knows? Maybe this new dread kills Asa as a kind of rude introduction to this episode. The new seasonal event is called the Nether, and no, not the one with Gast. It's on the Dreadnought, and it's very similar to Coil. So there's no health regen. This is basically Brawn on crack. You have a base 300 health and base 75 shield, but basically all healing stuff is nerfed in this. So your speaker sight builds are going to be goated in this activity, especially as you get to the higher difficulties. This is more of a rogue light experience, so to speak, and kind of like you're, pushing deeper into the Dreadnought, and it's kind of resisting, so to speak. And you'll also find some chests throughout that will have revive tokens to kind of re-up you if you're low on those, because those will be a currency in this, kind of like the Coil again. You can also get ammo as well as some specific buffs. And I, just a little side note, saw this during the gameplay, there are Taken War Beasts now, which is cool. So unlike a lot of the past seasons that we've had more recently with those destinations that come alongside those seasons, we are going to be able to explore the Dreadnought as a patrol destination, which is something that hasn't happened for a while. It's cool. It does suck that more than likely this destination will go away at the end of the Destiny year and the end of the episodes, but enjoy it while it lasts, I guess. There's gonna be a lot of secrets, kind of a la Leviathan, so to speak. So this is definitely cool. It's like a mini expansion, and I do wish they'd do this more often, but time constraints probably prevent the team from doing this, creating a whole destination. We do get bits and pieces, right? Like in Echoes, we got new Nessus stuff, but it's really like we can't access it in Nessus. It's only in the activities, and all that stuff is going to be gone. We'll probably see the Battlegrounds reintegrated, right, into the Vanguard Ops playlist or Nightfall somewhere down the line. but a lot of that content is gone. And then with Revenant, you will have like the exotic mission stuff, but the Mirror Universe, which by the way, the Revenant realm, whatever you want to call it, is really cool. And we won't get to see much of that outside of the mission, which is cool that it's in its own bubble. But again, just so many environments that you lose the ability to explore once the year ends. So FOMO, definitely a criticism for this stuff still. But again, it's just fun to be back at the Dreadnought, even if it is for a short time. There will be solo and fire team choices for this destination. So if you want to go in solo and farm stuff by yourself, you're welcome to do that. You have the choice. And if you want to have a fire team to do this activity, you can do that as well. And if you want to have a harder difficulty, you have an expert difficulty as well for that. There's loot checkpoints a la Coil as well. This is a very Coil centric activity. I'm probably going to say Coil 50 times in this video, but the point here for the checkpoints is that, say you just want to play for 10 minutes, you can play 10 minutes, get your chest, and hop off. If you want a more extensive run, you can go hardcore. Like the Coil, I think, had 4 waves or 4 rounds that you could do. Each wave got harder. I think it went up to Grandmaster level difficulty. Think of it as like, normal, advanced, expert, master, or something along those lines as in terms of the scaling of the activity. To kind of help with this system, you will have boons. Minor boons are kind of like small stat boost that will increase, minor things, nothing crazy, and that will stack up to 10 times. You have major boons, which are very similar to the Pale Heart Traveler's Blessings. You have like a Stasis and Solar Slide. The Solar Slide is very similar to the one from the Pale Heart, so that's going to be cool to just, slide and freeze, or slide and consecrate into stuff as well. Definitely some fun stuff to use there. And corrupted buffs are kind of like a give and a take here. They give you a buff, but they will take something as well. So you can have a huge damage increase, but it's going to take away some grenade and ability energy. And as I mentioned before, don't forget healing is really hard. So there's a new support auto frame, which is Strand. And the reason I mention this is that it'll help. You also have the support frame from the Pale Heart, which is No Hesitations. And support frames are getting some changes to them as well. I can't remember, but you might want to go to the Twit and check that out if you're curious. But alongside the support auto frame, which is again going to be Strand in that primary slot, that kinetic slot, you're going to also have the Psycho Pomp Aerial Denial Arc Grenade Launcher, which looks really cool. It has some new perks pertaining to Bolt Charge, the new arc keyword, kind of like Frost Armor in the previous episode, getting its changes. And you will have the ability to get adept versions of these weapons as well. An interesting twist, maybe to try to get people to chase those weapons a bit more. They will not be craftable, as has been mentioned before, so you will have to chase these weapons, but you will be able to attune these weapons in some way, so it should be easier to go and chase these weapons. Alongside the boon system, there will also be fragile mods for these weapons that will expire at the end of the season. And they did talk about the aspects again. I'm just going to refer to the videos and the dev article with which that stuff came out if you want to go check out the new Ionic Sentry, as well as the Titan Barricade and On the Prowl for Void Hunter. All very interesting aspects that might be good in different ways. Next up, we have the artifact, which is called the Tablet of Ruin. Now, I can't wait for the lore implications, and at Bife Daddy, Lore Daddy, make the video right now. Drop what you're doing. I don't care if you're burnt out. No, I'm just kidding. Bife, enjoy your break. You deserve it. But the artifact perks are very interesting, and as I theorized in my own head canon, we do have the return of the coveted Particle Deconstruct, which is the brother to the grenade launcher mod that we have this season, just for, fusion rifles and linears. And it's going to be exciting to use some linears and fusion rifles again. They are also linear fusions did get a buff, so these weapons aren't just going to be good in regular content. raids as well as the dungeon, you're definitely going to want to slap or at least have a linear fusion ready to go, just in case it is just banger for contest and for that normal mode clear once that is unlocked as well. Interesting void artifact mods as well, which I'm very interested in. You might see a new Gear Falcons build on the channel soon with this stuff. Maligned Harvest. For the first void perk here, we have rapidly applying volatile causes your next instance of void weapon damage to create a weakening burst. You have a boost that gives you an overshield when you apply weaken. And then we have Void Flux to pair with. Defeating weakened targets with a void weapon applies volatile to nearby targets. Powerful targets increase the radius of the explosion. So weakening and volatile will be fun, and don't forget destabilizing is getting a buff. So if you have some destabilizing guns, that's gonna go crazy. Again, if you don't know what particle reconstruction, I said deconstruction earlier, I don't know why I did, but it's reconstruction. It does the following. Dealing sustained damage with fusion rifle or linear fusion rifles partially refills the magazine from reserves and grants them bonus damage for a short duration against that target. So yeah, you're getting bonus damage and you basically don't need to reload either, or at least, you know, eventually you will, but it's going to be a little bit longer before you do. So fusion rifles and linears are going to be very strong this season. We also have some other modifiers here as well. Flashover, when you gain maximum bolt charge, you become amplified. Amplified is getting changes as well, but I don't recall. The twit is so big and the information in my head is just, I can't keep it all in. But yeah, you're gonna get amplified when you have max bolt charge with flashover. Lightning bolts will deal more damage. And then Horde Shuttle, damage unraveled targets with a weapon, occasionally spawning a threadling, which the new support frame is kind of like a strand turret. When you're shooting an ally, it will shoot out like this unraveling round burst. So a very cool thing that can give you a little offense when you're healing an ally and being that mercy main and pocketing and just, you know, I need healing. So we have a couple new exotics that were revealed, and I'm not sure where this first one comes from, but maybe someone caught it during the stream and can tell me in the comments. But it's an exotic that looks very interesting. This exotic is an SMG that looks like a unicycle, and I'm not joking, but it does look very, very cool. I love the look of it. It is weird, and lore-wise, I'm interested to see some stuff about this, because apparently it's a precursor to a Weapon of Sorrow. I'm thinking Touch of Malice, because it kind of looks like the core of it, but I don't know, I could be wrong. So it has the trait Taken Divergence. This weapon resonates with your choices. Its intrinsic trait is Panic Response. This weapon generates Blight as it deals damage. While not firing, Blight depletes and the magazine is gradually refilled. Reload the weapon to convert stored Blight into Blight Seekers. It is a Strand SMG as well. The first exotic Strand SMG in the game, and I'm excited to use it. That range is a little goofy, stability looks interesting, and we didn't see what the catalyst is for obvious reasons. I'm sure they want to keep that under wraps, but I can't wait to see what this thing does and how good it is. SMGs did get a slight buff in the Act 3 patch, so they got more ammo, and they're also getting a damage buff in Heresy. So SMGs in general should be fun. This one, I'm not sure. The gameplay looked alright with it, but it didn't really blow me away. But again, this is without a catalyst, so it could be good. Next, we have the first primary ammo only trace rifle in the game called Lodestar. It's an arc one that can jolt and blind. Pretty crazy, I know. So its trait arc alignment, dealing arc damage from any source, aligns the battery's coils. When alignment is complete, reload to disengage the safety and enable hipfire starlight beam to apply jolt to any targets damaged for a short time. Aim down sights to slow the rate at which the battery drains. Intrinsic trait is starlight beam. This weapon fires a low intensity arc beam with enhanced stability and accuracy. It also fires in a burst form, so this could be a new archetype of trace rifle in the future in general. And you know, this is just something I would love to see more of. Special ammo versions of weapons that are primarily, you know, primary weapons and vice versa, right? Or heavy weapon versions of certain weapons, like we saw with Microcosm, is a heavy trace rifle. What's next? I don't know. A special bow, a special pulse rifle, maybe even a primary ammo shotgun. Who knows? There are so many possibilities with this game, and that's why you have to love it. And, well, you don't have to love it, but, you know, it's one of the reasons to love the game. And that's pretty much it. There was some more stuff about the dungeon race. There's just going to be the first team that clears is going to get a trophy. No, you know, podium finishes this time. And there's a very awesome Star Wars collab, which I did not see coming. And my wallet really can't afford to spend money on Destiny. But, you know, if I find myself enjoying Heresy like I think I will, then I might have to drop some money on one of those costumes. Because, damn, they're amazing. It's literally the Titan is a Stormtrooper, the Warlock is an Imperial Royal Guard, and then you have the Hunter as a Death Trooper, which is really sick. And I'm a huge Star Wars fan. The Survivor games, of course, Survivor and Fallen Order, fantastic games. I wish I could decapitate Stormtroopers in it, but, you know, you gotta keep it E for everyone, or T for teen, or whatever the rating is for that game. And the Death Star Ghost, you also have what I think is going to be an Interceptor TIE Fighter as a ship, but we'll see. It is in the image that future me is putting in. But that's it. You know, I'm excited more so than I thought I would be. I'm happy that the dungeon is, or excuse me, not the dungeon, but the Dreadnought is explorable, it's patrollable. And just another side note that before I end the video, Vogue weapons will be craftable with new origin traits as well, so you can go ahead and go back into the Vault of Glass to craft those delicious weapons. And I certainly will be doing that. So many good weapons in Vogue, but they are just severely outdated now, even though it was only a few years ago that they got reintroduced to the game. But that's how power creep works. That's how games like Destiny work in looter shooters. Anyways, that's it. I again will be live next week on the release of Heresy, doing the episodic content if you want to come hang out. And I will also be streaming the Contest Dungeon live on Friday. Be awesome to see you there. And if you are this far into the video, thanks again for watching. Subscribe if you are not subscribed already. A lot of people who watch are not subscribed. It's free, it's easy, it helps me a lot. But it would be appreciated either way. And that's it. See ya.